and judging it objectively against your own morality and integrity. Whatever, interchangeable words, whatever. Yeah, so you do that, you make a great effort to do that, like I've done over these many years, then you shouldn't have to listen to people very much. You should still consider others' advice, okay, because it's not going to kill you to listen to what someone has to say. Not everybody goes off on monologues like I do all the time, so it's not going to take very long to listen to what somebody has to say to you, or just an opinion somebody has to say, because you never know. Everybody can teach. You can always learn from somebody else. I feel like you can always learn from somebody else, no matter how much you know. You can always learn something from a certain topic about anything. I mean, like, we're meant to help each other learn stuff in this world, but you shouldn't have much to learn about yourself in particular if you have properly figured yourself out, like I just explained. So what you're saying there was really accurate. Have no belief whatsoever in how others judge you, for the greatness that you have come to understand about yourself through all that effort will silence them all. And so besides being secure with who you are, he just really understood how to live life to the fullest. Now, what does that mean? Live life to the fullest. Everybody always says that, right? Live life to the fullest. What does that really mean? It means living life. I'll allow me to just explain it by adding on a little bit to the end. Live life to the fullest that it can be experienced. That should make it a little easier to understand. There's a lot that can be experienced in life in terms of your emotion, in terms of the knowledge you can attain, and the enlightenment in general. Enlightenment is like kind of like wisdom, intelligence, emotion, kind of all wrapped in one word. Just like an enhancement, an advancement of your brain power, of your emotional power, of your sympathy power, of your academic competence, of your physical competence, your mental competence. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, enlightenment's a lot of things, but so living life to the fullest that it can be experienced is really a very worthwhile guide, a really worthwhile path to take in life. If Warrior did that better than anybody else, he, whatever the meaning of life is, if there even is one, he came closer to realizing whatever the meaning of life is better than anybody else because of the way he lived his life. He really did. He lived life to the fullest that it could be experienced by thinking so deeply, by seeing as many different sides to things as he could, by using his willpower as much as he could, by having that self-satisfaction of trying so hard, of utilizing all of his potential for willpower. That brings a lot of satisfaction to your mind. It makes you feel great about yourself, and then so we had him in his willpower and his objectivity, and what else did he have? And trying to bestow his wisdom about utilizing his willpower onto everybody else. Really, he did. And those things go a long way. I mean, trying to influence everybody and inspire everybody to be like that too. That's also getting a lot out of life. It's also experiencing a lot out of life. You can experience so much out of life by opening up your mind and soul and heart more. So those three things, mind, soul, and heart, how different are they really? Sure, I can agree that they overlap, but you really think about it. I mean, your mind is your mind you think with. Your heart is your heart that you beat with to every thought that you generate in your head, and your soul is, the overarching entity to all of that's going on. To your heart, it's beating to every thought and emotion that you express in your head and outside of your head. So you can experience life in so many ways and to such high extents by opening up your minds more, by not being afraid to express your emotions more, by not being afraid to become a more emotional person. You can realize that by, you know, believing that there's more to learn, believing that there's more you can do in life, believing that there's more you can experience emotionally and knowledgeably, if that's even a word. You know, you could do so much with your willpower, so much more than you may think, so much more with your knowledge than you may think, so much more with your emotions than you may think, and you can expand on all those things so much more than you may think. You really can. And I hope to carry on that legacy of warrior through my own philosophy, and hopefully if I become a therapist one day, I will promote the existential humanistic approach where you are the answer to your problems. Nobody else is. When it comes down to the point where you finally are becoming quote-unquote better and quote-unquote, feeling better, who actually decides that? You do. The therapist doesn't actually come into your mind and work your emotions for you to make you feel better. You work your emotions to make you feel better. You just become inspired by somebody else to feel better. By the thoughts that they give you, the advice that they give you. But, so you can come to that advice on your own. I mean, sure, some help is great in life, but eventually you want to become self-sufficient where you can come up with this advice on your own and you can lead yourself to making yourself feel better on your own, resolving your problems on your own. Okay? Because you are able to do that. And that's the approach that I want to teach people, because I have gone to a therapist only for 2 sessions in my entire life, because let's not get into why. That's going to be another like half an hour discussion. So, and besides, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about anyway. Yes, what do you call it? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so that approach is golden. That approach is golden. Okay, I barely reached out for help in my life, if anything. I've worked myself through almost every single one of my problems in my life. Some people will say, oh, that means you're more stubborn because you haven't received advice from other people. Okay, you know what? Let's go back to what I was saying earlier in the video about how you judge yourself against the world objectively, you judge yourself against the world rationally and reasonably, as much as you possibly can, and then you'll have the best view of yourself that you can, the most accurate view of yourself as you can, where you can be sure of how you stand against the world and where you stand. Okay? So, and besides, it developed my willpower more strongly than it would have been by asking for help from other people. So, I think I have done well for myself. I think Warrior has done well for himself too, for having the same legacy, the same philosophy. What do you call it? Wow, it's 20 minutes already. But Warrior, not enough words can express how sad I am, and not enough words can express how great a legacy you left and how different you were. Everybody in this world is different from each other, but you were more different than most people. No words can't explain how important your philosophy was on this world, and how important the articulation you gave was, and how important the wisdom you gave was, and how well you did it, how important all of that was. Nobody did it like you, Warrior. No one did it like you, and nobody ever will, probably. Not even me, honestly. Nobody, not even people like me will. Not even people that are trying to do the same thing as I'm doing here will. No one's gonna do it like you, Warrior. It's just not gonna happen. You were something else. It's gonna bother me for a while. But, you know what? What do I say? Words, not enough words can express it, Warrior. You know? I've always been afraid of dying. You know, I'm afraid of that day when I die, but you dying has actually given me something. It's been one of the the few times in my life that I've been given something to look forward to when dying. So, and folks, to an extent it leaves me kind of speechless. I'm not sure what else I could say. It's just that please try to recognize the importance, significance of this man's legacy, of this man's philosophy, because he is the cure for our modern world. He does everything right he rights the wrongs. He does right all of the things. Sorry, put this properly. He does correctly. He takes all of the wrongs that are being executed in this world today, and he turns them around and does them the right way. All the superficiality in this world, all the superficiality, all the lack of willpower, all the lack of hard work. What else is there? All the lack of sympathy. He does the opposite of all those deficiencies. He is reinforcing the efficiency of those things. He's executing them the right way. And anyway, I could go on and on, but warrior, I am one of your warriors, and many people out there are your warriors, and hopefully people watching this are your warriors as well. From one hardcore life lover to another, take care, and maybe I will meet you someday. Noodle out.